say, kids, what time is it?
Hey, it's Edson from GeekTime TV, and I wanted to talk to you about WandaVision, Episode 5. We're in the 80s now, and as we open, Wanda and Vision are going through some typical parent struggles. Their babies won't stop crying. Nothing seems to work, including Vision reading to them, and then Wanda tries using her powers, and that doesn't work either. Vision reassures her that they'll figure something out, but Wanda thinks they need help. At that moment, Agnes bursts in, wearing her jazzercise tights. She wants to help out, but Vision is being a little bit overprotective and is not sure she should hold babies. Suddenly, Agnes has a change in personality. She becomes very serious, and she asks Wanda whether they should take it from the top, as if they're going to go back and try this scene all over again. Then everybody becomes confused. They start looking at each other nervously for a few seconds, but then they all laugh about it. And Wanda reassures Vision that this is kind of typical behavior for Agnes. Meanwhile, Agnes is first she douses the babies with lavender perfume, and then she goes looking for liquor in the kitchen. And suddenly, Wanda and Vision don't hear the crying anymore. So they check the crib to see if the babies are asleep, but they're not even there. And surprise, they've aged themselves to 5 years old. So no more crying. We cut to a 80s style intro that reminds us of some sitcoms from that era, like Growing Pains, Family Ties, and of course, Full House, which features Elizabeth Olsen's twin sisters. Then we go outside of town into the sword camp, and where Monica is being examined, and Jimmy and Darcy come visit. So her test results are weirdly showing just a complete blank. So they want to test her again, and she's kind of had enough of just lying around being examined. So they go to Director Tyler's briefing on the whole Westview situation. He's convinced now that Wanda is the cause of everything, but Monica points out that she's not acting like a terrorist. I mean, she has a lot of power, and she's not really using it to destroy anything, which is kind of like a little bit of a weak argument, considering all those townspeople are in there being controlled. But I get what she means, because Wanda doesn't seem to be having any kind of evil intent. So Tyler shows them this footage of Wanda breaking into Sword headquarters. It happened 9 days before. She goes in there to steal Vision's body, which seems to confirm that Wanda is the villain here. But you could look at this in a different way. For example, if you could see that if Sword was experimenting on Vision, then Wanda could actually be going in there to rescue him. Because remember, in last episode, Tyler was explaining to Monica that their Sword was changing to doing more research into weapons and artificial intelligence. Back in Westview, the twin boys find this dog that just seems to show up at the doorstep, and they're bathing it in the kitchen. And conveniently, Agnes comes in with the doghouse, which makes Vision very suspicious. And on top of that, Wanda uses her powers to create a collar for the dog, right where, without any care of whether Agnes sees it or not. So he becomes very angry with her. So to try to appease him, Wanda's explained to the boys that they can't keep the dog. They have to be at least 10 years old to be able to take care of the dog. And They solved that problem. They aged themselves another 5 years, and now they're 10 years old. Back outside the camp, um, Monica, Darcy, and Jimmy are discussing what's going on, and Jimmy's trying to figure out who the boys are. They haven't been able to identify who the boys are, but Monica says, well, Wanda actually created them. But Jimmy argues that Wanda only creates illusions, not actual matter. And even Darcy says that would mean she would have an insane amount of power to do that. But Monica argues that Wanda does have a lot of power. I mean, she almost killed Thanos. But Jimmy counters that with saying that actually Captain Marvel came a lot closer to killing Thanos. But Monica doesn't want to have any, she doesn't want to talk about Captain Marvel at all. She just wants to concentrate on Wanda as a subject. Back inside of the town, we see Vision in the office, and everybody around them is impressed with the computers that they've got in the office, and they log in and they see electronic mail, as Norm puts it. The email is from Darcy, but everyone around Vision kind of just laughs at it as a joke. So Vision, and I haven't seen this power from him before. So he touches Norm's head, and using his powers, all of a sudden it seems to release Norm from whoever's controlling him, and all of a sudden he's not a sitcom character anymore. He starts panicking. He says that he wants Vision to stop her, and that she's in his head. He's trying to figure out how to get out of this situation. So he goes into a full panic. So Vision immediately just touches him again, and then he's back to like a sitcom character again, as if he's being controlled. So outside, Sword decides to send a drone in, and they make it from the technology of the 80s so that when it passes through the energy barrier, it's not going to be changed in any way. So Monica guides the drone in, and as soon as Wanda notices it, her eyes start glowing red, and that's when Tyler orders someone to take the shot, and the feed cuts out just as the drone fires. Now Monica is angry at Tyler because she obviously didn't know the drone had any weapons or anything like that. So that's not why she thought that they were bringing the drone in. But then as they're arguing, they're interrupted by alarms going off, and someone says that there's a breach going on. They all run out to check that out. Outside the camp, we see Wanda emerging from the energy field, and she's wearing her old Avengers outfit, dragging the destroyed drone behind her. There's dozens of sword soldiers aiming their guns at her, and she tells them, she throws the drone at them, and she tells them to stay out of her home, and that this is going to be their only warning. She also seems to have gotten her old Sokovian accent back. Monica tries to talk to her. She tells her she wants to help her, but Wanda says, she already has everything she wants. And then she uses her powers to make the soldiers point their guns at Tyler, and then walks back into Westview. Then we cut to a commercial. We see a couple deal with various spills around the house, and they're using the Lagos brand paper towels. And this is a callback to Captain America: Civil War, where the Avengers were in Lagos, and Wanda accidentally killed a bunch of people while trying to save Captain America from an explosive. So back in town, Wanda and the boys are searching for their missing dog. And they go throughout town, and all of a sudden, Agnes comes out from behind the bush, and she has the dog in her arms. He's completely covered. with a blanket, and he's obviously dead. She explains that he accidentally he accidentally ate poisoned leaves, and obviously the twins are heartbroken. They beg Wanda to bring the dog back to life, but Wanda's explained to them that some things, there are rules, and some things can't be changed. You're not supposed to bring things back to life. Agnes is actually, we talked about how Agnes doesn't seem to be like the other people in town. And in the comics, there's this character, Agatha Harkness, who has very close ties with Wanda. She's been around for a while. She's got magic powers as well, and she was even around during the Salem witch trials. And she mentors Wanda and how to better use her powers. So maybe the way Agnes just keeps showing up, helping Wanda, maybe this is who she's going to wind up being. Regardless, it's nice to see Catherine Hahn have some significant screen time in this episode, anyway. So back home, Vision confronts Wanda about what happened to Norm, and he starts telling her, why is she controlling everything around them? What's outside of Westview? He has no memory of his life before this, but she acts like she doesn't know anything about it, and the credits even start rolling. But Vision's doesn't want to stop the argument. He notices more and more things, like how come Westview doesn't have any children other than their twins? He's convinced she's in total control of the whole town, but she tells him she acts like she doesn't know what he's talking about. She tells him she doesn't even know how any of this started in the first place. At that moment, the doorbell rings, and she goes to get it, and adds that she certainly didn't control that. She doesn't know who's at the door. And who is at the door? Well, it's the big reveal of the week. She opens the door, and it's her brother Pietro. Yeah, the same brother who a couple episodes ago she had said that he was dead, but there he is. But it's not. He's not played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was her brother in Age of Ultron. This is in fact Evan Peters, who played Pietro in the X-Men movie franchise before Disney bought Fox. So this is the whole thing just becomes really weird with the being her brother being cast by someone she never actually played in the movies with. So we get this huge reveal at the end of the episode, which of course just becomes this great lead-in into the next episode. Okay, that's it for this episode. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It does help us grow the channel and make more content. And I thank you for watching, and I hope to talk to you about episode 6.
If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure you click the little bell icon to be notified anytime someone from our show drops new content here. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Say, kids, what time is that?